Hi everyone. I'm here to talk to you about the Library Association of Alberta, LAA, the Canadian Federation of Library Associations, CFLA, and the International Federation of Library Association, IFLA. So I'm going to turn off my camera here so that you can focus on the content of the websites that I show you. We're going to start with LAA. And then I'll talk to you about CFLA, and those are the initials that we use to when we refer to these associations. I've been involved in both associations. For a 2-year period about 5 years ago, I was a director for the LAA. That's just a member of the board. And then I took a 2-year break, and then I went back on the board in the position of first VP, which becomes president, which then becomes past president. So it was a 3-year term. But due to COVID and to restrictions in our bylaws, we were unable to host an AGM in April and unable to host a virtual AGM. So therefore, the current board stayed in position, including myself. We typically transition at the Alberta Library Conference, which occurs in Jasper every April. But without that, the current board maintained its status. But I did resign in October after 3.5 years of service. While I was president of LAA, I was the CFLA representative for Alberta on that board for a 2-year period. The second year that I was on that board, I was on the executive as the secretary. And I can't begin to tell you what I learned from being a part of both associations, not only as a member, but also as an active member on the board. I want to talk to you first about the Library Association of Alberta. Now, you should have received an email from LAA, from Christine Shepherd, who is our executive director, welcoming you to LAA membership. That membership is free for students for a 2-year period. So you've been automatically created as a member for 2 years, starting this year. After that, then your subscription rate will change depending if you want to continue on, and it will depend on your annual income. So the lower the income, the more affordable being on LAA is. I'd say the 2 biggest things that LAA contributes to the provincial community is its continuing scholarships and grants program and the Alberta Library Conference. This year is a bit of an exceptional year, which, are you not tired of hearing that already? But it is true. I believe that the grants and scholarships that LAA does provide are currently suspended, and that is due to a significant decrease in revenue for the association, which comes from hosting the Alberta Library Conference. Without that conference this year, and possibly not next year either, that significantly reduces the sort of initiatives that LAA can accomplish. But please keep them in mind, possibly by the time you're in second year and back to school in second year. You might have a look at those, and they are some funding opportunities to attend conferences, but also for your schooling. The other thing that LAA is a part of is something called the CEC program. This CEC program is part of the partnership, which is the collection of the provincial associations across Canada that get together and work together. And you can see that here it says that we meet twice yearly to collaboratively develop service and programs. So we work together on a national level, but we represent our provincial associations. It's quite amazing. So there's something called the Education Institute that provides webinars. It's just a very small fee to attend different webinars that at the end, if you attend enough of them, you receive a certificate of training, which is called the Continuing Education Certificate. So this is something to keep in mind when you're out in industry and you need to further your professional development and, educate yourself in different areas. Your library that you work for might sponsor you. It also hosts a job board, which is positions in provinces and across Canada, national positions as well as provincial positions. And it also is sort of the host of the Partnership Journal, which is a peer-reviewed publication in Canada. As a matter of fact, I'm the current editor of that publication, which has been extremely rewarding as well, and part of the reason why I had to go off of the board for LAA. Just a little too much. The other major thing that LAA contributes that everybody in Alberta knows about is the Alberta Library Conference. It's very sad that it was canceled this year and possibly next year. It has about a 45-year history of existing and being and at the I can't remember, I don't know what word I'm trying to say. Anyway, it occurs every single year at the Jasper Park Lodge in Jasper. It sounds like it would be an expensive thing to attend, but it's not too bad. As a student, the rate is $60, so I'm hopeful by the time you're in second year that you'll be able to think about attending this conference. You don't have to stay at the lodge, even though there is a good rate to stay at the lodge with your food included, because all the meals are buffet style. But a lot of students that come out, or people from libraries that don't have enough money to sponsor the JPL stay, will stay in town, and then there is a shuttle service that goes from town to the hotel. It's a top-rate, top-notch conference, one of the best across Canada, and one of the largest. There's over 800 people that attend, including vendors and all types of individuals who work in all types of positions in libraries. There's a lot of library trustees that come to this conference as well, because it typically is co-sponsored or hosted by the Alberta Library Trustees Association. We've had top-notch keynote speakers throughout the year, people like Rex Murphy, like the founder of BuzzFeed, Susan and Glucart. I don't know if you know those names, the Choir guys, really significant international names that have been outstanding. So it's really a good bang for your buck. So please keep ALC in mind for future library conferences. The other association to be aware of is the Canadian Federation of Library Associations, the CFLA. Now, the CFLA is an association of associations, so it's not something that you personally would belong to. If you're a member of your provincial association, you do get information from the CFLA. So they represent the provincial associations, and they respond to issues that are of national interest across Canada. Things like public policy, intellectual freedom, advocacy, guidelines, things like that. And they do advocate on Parliament, actually, on the Hill, for issues that are to do with information and libraries, such as copyright. There's 4 committees on the CFLA that are the members of those committees are people from across Canada who have an interest in those areas and expertise. There's a Cataloging and Metadata Standards Committee, Copyright Committee, Indigenous Matters, and the Intellectual Freedom Committee. Indigenous Matters and Intellectual Freedom in particular have been extremely busy in this last year with a lot of different challenges and issues surrounding libraries and surrounding these issues. And they've got some fantastic documentation to help support libraries across Canada. Some of those documents are under the position paper and guidelines link. If you have a look, you can see there's documentation such as intellectual freedom in libraries, open access for Canadian libraries, public access to the internet, and third-party use of publicly funded library meeting rooms. So it's just position statements that libraries can refer to if they have to provide information, say, to their funding bodies or to their city councils or to the members of the public. There's also a guideline for the education of library technicians, but don't look too closely at it because it's outdated. Lisa and I received funding this year to provide an update for it, so hopefully within a year we'll have a new, fresh guideline for education across Canada. The third association, just to be aware of, is called IFLA. It's the International Federation of Library Associations. Again, this isn't something you need to become a member of, but you might see publications arise, throughout your time here at school, and just know that IFLA is a reputable organization with, a tremendous amount of good documentation that sort of ties together internationally issues related to libraries and information. They develop international standards. So it's just important for you to be aware that it's there. Even if you don't, so really the only association to really belong to here is LAA for you as an individual, and you are already automatically a member. If you want to keep up with what LAA is doing, they do have a fairly active Facebook page that you can join. They will send out regular emails. You can also belong to, not belong, but you can follow CFLA on Twitter. And IFLA would be the same thing as well. So these are ways that you can keep involved and that you can keep up to date in what is going on in Canadian libraries and libraries across the world. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the week learning about all the different associations that you can be a part of within Alberta. Thanks very much.